Hello viewers, this is Just Fake Network TV, a place where you can get the latest information about Nigeria news and how the news in details. Convert your church to isolation center and stop criticizing governments for closing churches. Bakare attacks Oyedepo Oyakilome. The founder and senior pastor of Citadel Global Community Church, CGCC, Tunde Bakare, has attacked Bishop David Oyedepo and Pastor Chris Oyakilome for criticizing the government for closing churches and opening markets amidst coronavirus outbreak. Oyakilome had few days ago lashed out at church leaders who agreed with the government to shut down churches to halt the spread of coronavirus, saying they are not true Christians. Oyakilome, in a telecast, said the church leaders should have told the government to give them time to pray and consult with their congregation before thinking of closing churches. According to Oyedepo, there should be opening of the churches around the world. Sir, there is something wrong for people to be allowed to be in the market for 6 hours and can't be in church for 2 hours. It is an upside-down ways of looking at things. Why quoting Ecclesiastes 4:13, which said, "Better is a poor and wise child than an old foolish king, who will no more be admonished." Which one is more orderly, the market or the church? I can smell a rat. The Lord spoke to me about it yesterday. Behind all this, how do we stop the church from exploding? However, Bakare on Sunday said it was wrong for church leaders to be criticizing the government at this time, rather than helping them to fight this spread of coronavirus. Though he did not mention the names of the church leaders, he was apparently referring to Oyedepo and Oyakilome. I would like to react to the lamentation of some people within the church over closure of churches, that while markets and hospitals are allowed to open, church are not allowed to operate. I am so glad not only churches are prevented from congregating, the mosques also are locked down. The government ordered the market to open and operate for a few days to prevent hunger because the palliatives by the government cannot go to every citizen in their home right now. Let the church live and support the government rather than condemning them in the odious task. We should thank God that there is no distance in the spirit, lockdown or no lockdown, and that the church is not the building but the body of Christ, he said. Bakare said those churches with multiple facilities, rather than criticizing the government, should collaborate with them to halt the spread of the disease. They must be prepared to offer some of their halls to governments as isolation center in support of the government. I recommend that our church halls be made available to governments as isolation centers, and those of us who could afford it should be there to support the government. I am not suggesting what we are not prepared to do. We have already done that, he added. Wow, so guys, you've heard it all. You can see that according to what Pastor Bakare said, this is to tell you that there are still some pastors that are saying that churches should be open at this critical time. My question is this: all those pastors that are saying churches should be open at this critical time, are they not in support of the government? Are they not praying for this virus to be over? Because this is to tell you that some pastors, they really want your contribution. They really want your money contribution financially in every areas rather than your own self. Because at this critical time, how can a pastor be saying that why is it that the federal government allows markets to be opened and not churches to be open for good 2 hours? We know what it takes. If churches are open for good 2 hours, of course there will not be social distancing. And I know that The reason why markets are open is just because of people are dying of hungers. And the federal government knows that they cannot feed all Nigerian people, you know. But people are saying that where is it written that churches be converted to isolation centers? Church is a place of prayer and not isolation center. Every house have its own purpose. Let's not be sentimental. Can you boldly say that mosque should be converted to isolation center too? All the sick were gathered to Apostle Peter. Even his shadow was healing the sick, all kind of sicknesses. Pastors proposing for church to be turned to isolation center. Why it would be nice if the pastor will use the avenue to pray for the sick, but the government will not allow them to do so. Turning church facilities to isolation center without praying for the sick is a sign of lost glory. Exactly, I would support what this person said. It is definitely a sign of lost glory. Churches cannot be turned to isolation center. No. Because we all know that churches is a purified place of worship, place of good relationship with God. But in the aspect of some pastors saying that churches should be open for like 2 hours, I will not support that, because we all know everything that is going on in the country right now. It is not encouraging for people to gather and worship God in church. At least we are one body. There is no place you can, if you pray in your house, God will definitely answer you. There are a lot of means to come together to pray. God is working with your heart. And that is the main thing there. That's the main thing there. And the situation in the world today, especially in Nigeria, has definitely revealed to us that those who are blind, those who are carnal-minded Christians, pastors, sycophant Christian leaders. You know what Jesus said? Jesus said the house of God is a house of prayer. He didn't say that it is a house for isolation. So they should not make any mistake of that. Because God is definitely watching everything that is going on in the country right now. I'm telling you. So may God help us. May God help us. You know, all these pastors that are coming out, crying out that there should be like 2 hours worship. Maybe they are really concerned about the tithe and offering. I am sorry to say that. But definitely, maybe they are curious about the giving that people are giving. But in the aspect of isolation center to turn to be for church to be used, I am not in support of that. You know, and people are saying that Tunde Bakare have not told the imam or Afas to convert their mosques to isolation center. Try them whether you go live to see 2023 ambition. It is unfortunate that this is coming from a pastor just because he is close to Buhari. He is dishonoring a place where he set aside, where people are able to gather together to worship God. Pastor Tunde Bakare has lost his glory to the hands of Nigerian politicians, and that is why he's saying that against the body of Christ. Mr. Blogger, if you don't have what to write up, you had better not waste our time regarding reading your nonsense post. You know, people are saying that in the history of the church from the book of Genesis to Revelation, where have you seen the synagogue? I mean the building where Christians gather to worship being turned to isolation center. Even when Jesus went to the synagogue and saw the money changers, the Bible said he took actions against them. How much more turning it into isolation center? The thing is that may God help us all. We cannot say that everything that Pastor Tunde Bakare said is wrong. He is not wrong. Because this is not the time for us to open a church. This is not a time for people to gather together. But in the aspect of isolation center, I think church should not be turned to isolation center. That is my own take about it. So guys, what do you think? Your comment is highly appreciated, and kindly drop your comment at the comment section below. For those who subscribe, I want to say a very big thank you to you for subscribing. We'll say God bless you. If you're yet to do so, please kindly press the subscription button below. And also please don't forget to press the notification button so that whenever we upload news, you will be the first person to watch our latest news. God bless you once again and have a great day. Always stay safe.